Only a coward born. Dressed in moonlight, I whisper your name, can't get in the sleep. Smoking cigarette after cigarette, I watch 'em burn until I forget we're through. Baby, tell me what to do. Promises got lost in the dust. Your boots by the door, you're not coming home. No, stuck in a ghost town, dressed in moonlight, where I still keep the porch light on. Oh, heartache, you left me behind. That's not a man, only a coward. Gone now, you're chasing the wind, no longer my man. You're just a You're just a Love like wildfire was your entire world until I stole.
You say that you don't need me. You say let's take things slowly. I hope you realize you're playing with fire. I know what heartbreak feels like. I know I've shed some teardrops. I've been here before. You have done it now. Left me on the ground. This is it. I won't come back. If we don't stop, if we don't go, I'll be left alone every night when you go. Sitting by myself, going crazy like all the time. If we don't stop, if I don't go, I'll be left alone every night when you go. And I hope you realize, playing with the fire. Saying words ain't easy. I know you can't talk to me, but I hope you realize you're playing with fire. You were my one and only until you left me lonely. I guess you stopped to care. You have done it now. Left me on the ground. This is it. I won't come back. If we don't stop, if we don't go, I'll be left alone every night when you go. Sitting by myself. I know that we would never work. I know that someone would get hurt. I think I have to let you go. Should be easy, but it's not. 'Cause the problem is I love you. What to do? I count to 3 when you're next to me. I love you. What to do now? Do now. Only problem is I love you. What to do? You got me bound, make my world spin round. I love you. What to do now? I want you.
You're stuck inside my head. Oh, I can't stop thinking about all the words you said. I think I have to let you go. Should be easy, but it's not. Only problem is I love you. What to do? You got me bound, make my world spin round. I love you. What to do now? Do now. Only problem is I love you so damn much. Every word you say, every time we touch. I love you now. I want you. I want you.
Come pick me up, drag me from the shadows, babe. Give me your love, you'll be my escape. Come turn me on, key inside the engine, babe. Lead the way, it's okay. Front seat, calling shotgun, my lover. Driving through the city lights. Haunted by my past, I was certain, but now I see the You're never here when my tears dry. You're never around to see me thrive. When it's my birthday or my day off, you got other plans and can't show up. But when life gives me a shit hand, all of a sudden you're the first to come. Always there to help and listen. You're just a friend when I come undone. I have to fall apart to get to see you again. You only have a heart when mine is bleeding. Some kind of friend. If I would win the lottery, you wouldn't be happy for me. But if I blew it all in one day, you'd be there to hug my pain away. 'Cause in tricky situations, you are the best friend that I've ever had. But it's such a funny feeling when you get enjoyment of seeing me sad. I have to fall apart to get to see you